You could probably tell by the thumbnail who we're talking about today. And I'm going to ask you guys the question, could the Yankees bring back a familiar face? Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you would be open to this player returning. And as I said, you probably saw the thumbnail, so you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Miguel Andujar. Now, he was mentioned on Talking Yanks. I saw their short, their reel, if you will. And Jake mentioned, hey, maybe we could trade for him. John Boy kind of scoffed at it, but Jake said, hey, maybe we could trade for him. So I was like, hey, is this even possible? Could the Yankees go and trade for Andujar? I mean, I guess anything is possible, right? Anything is possible, of course. But I wanted to see, all right, how much money is he making? How many years does he have until he hits free agency? Well, Miguel Andujar, 30 years old, by the way. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So it's an expiring contract, basically, and he's only making $3 million this year. So it wouldn't cost the Yankees too much money, kind of an inexpensive move it would be. But he's not a very good third baseman still. He still has that about him. He's not the best third baseman. He's okay, but I believe his outs above average is like a -2. He also plays the outfield, but he's not too great out there either. The reason why you would be acquiring Miguel Andujar is simply because of his bat, plain and simple. Now, last year for the Oakland A's, back then Oakland A's, last year he hit 285 in 75 games. Very good batting average. This year for the Athletics, he's hitting 316 with 3 home runs, 19 RBI, a 788 OPS, and a 119 OPS plus. Now, with that information, I want to know if you guys would want Miguel Andujar back in pinstripes because he's having a pretty solid year, a pretty solid start to his season. He also doesn't strike out a lot, so he would be a good bat to have. And remember that his rookie campaign back in 2018, he finished second behind Shohei Ohtani in the Rookie of the Year award voting. He almost won it. You know, he finished second. So, with all that being said, what would the Yankees have to trade if they were to go and acquire Miguel Andujar? Well, it wouldn't be too much. You could maybe throw Yorby Bebas's name in there. I don't think so. The one guy that I think is the most obvious choice to be moved for Miguel Andujar, and it really pains me to say this, it's Oswald Peraza. Now, Peraza, I believe he has like 50 at-bats this year. He's hitting below 200. He has a couple of home runs. I'm a big Peraza fan, probably the biggest Peraza fan in the world. I have his autograph, right? And, I love the kid. I really do. I still have high hopes for him. But right now, the Yankees need a bat. And unless they're going to give Peraza a long leash, which if they haven't yet, they probably won't. Well, he's out of minor league options, so you can't send him down. Why not move him for a guy who could help you right now and who could basically improve your lineup instantly? And that's Miguel Andujar. So Peraza, he's a free agent in 2030, so he still has quite a few years of major league control. So if Oakland loves him, it's like, hey, you just picked up a really good defensive player, a guy who you're most likely going to play every day, and you're going to see what you have in him. And if he turns out, he turns out. That would be awesome. I would be so happy for Peraza. But if the Yankees aren't using him, and listen, they prefer Bebas over him, right? DJ is back. What happens when Chisholm comes back eventually? You'll probably DFA Pablo Reyes, but you're going to have Peraza just rot there on the bench. What's the point? That's just what I think. So why not right now, because we don't know when Jazz is coming back, why not right now go get a bat in Miguel Andujar? Don't think that's the worst idea. Who's hitting 316 this year? He's got 3 home runs, 19 RBI, almost an 800 OPS, a 119 OPS plus. I'm not against that. Trade for him. You're trading for his offense, but you're also trading a defensive specialist, a very good one, in Oswald Peraza. I think that makes sense for both teams. Now, when it comes down to it, would I prefer somebody else other than Peraza? 1,000%. But as I said, you're trying to replace the offense that you lost through injury. And Miguel Andujar hitting .316 this year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Won't cost you too much. He's an inexpensive contract as well, only making $3 million this year. You could trade away a guy like Oswald Peraza, who's out of major league options. Go get something for him. And you're getting a guy who was once upon a time a New York Yankee, who we're familiar with, of course, but a guy who's hitting .316 this year. And last year with Oakland in 75 games, he hit .285. So, and as I said, he doesn't strike out too much. I don't think it's the worst idea. If I'm the Yankees, I would try and give Peraza a longer leash. I would try to roll Peraza out there almost every day. I've said this before and I'll say it again. When it comes to Oswald Peraza, he needs consistent playing time. That's what the back of his baseball card shows you. That's what his splits show you. He takes a little bit to cook. He takes a little bit to heat up. And once when he starts going, the kid's good. Last 3 months of the season, over down there in Scranton, he hit 13 home runs, over an 800 OPS. He was good, and he's very good defensively. So just give him a run here. Just give him a longer run. I think they should, but I don't think they will. And I'm probably in the minority with Peraza. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I'll die on that hill. I think if you give Peraza time, he'll be okay. But if you're not going to give him that said time, move him. Don't option him down and make him pass through waivers or attempt to pass him through waivers because he won't pass. Instead of optioning him, just trade him for a guy who could contribute to this team this year offensively. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst idea. That's why, Jake was kind of scoffed at for suggesting that deal on Talking Yanks. And I was like, wait a minute. This isn't a bad one. It wouldn't take much to go and get him, but you're trading away a prospect in Oswald Peraza, who once upon a time was untouchable in this organization. And in my opinion, still hasn't been given a consistent shake, a consistent one. That's just my opinion, though. And the numbers, his at-bats speak for themselves. It does. So in his 50 at-bats, Peraza has 2 home runs. Now, if you rolled them out there for more, maybe he has 4, 5, 6, 7. I know that sounds nuts, but when this kid gets going, he can hit for power. He can. He's done it at the professional level. Now, we'll see what ends up happening. This is nothing that the Yankees are talking about at the moment, but Miguel Andujar is definitely a name that if the Yankees had the opportunity to go and get him, I would revisit that name. Just my opinion, though. He could hit. Now, the Yankees and the Mets. Just want to talk about them a little bit here. At the time of recording this video, the Yankees and Mets series is about to start. This feels different because you have Juan Soto coming in, right? You have Juan Soto making his return to Yankee Stadium. He put out a quote with John Heyman and just mentioned to Heyman that the Yankees were his number one. They just couldn't get a deal done. I think that's the dumbest thing that you could say. If you're Juan Soto, that's the dumbest thing that you could say. I think that's so silly. Don't even bother saying it. Lie and tell us that the Mets were your number one. You signed on with them for 15 years. In that quote, Juan Soto said that Yankees were his number one. They could not get a deal done, and we'll see what happens. There's no seeing what happens. This is what I think might happen. My opinion. You could trash me for this all you want. That's okay. Disagree. That's okay too, of course. But I think if it doesn't work out here for whatever reason, and so far it is, the Mets are in first place, one of the best teams in baseball right now. If for some reason this does not work out for Juan Soto and the Mets, you could see a trade. You could. When Alex Rodriguez signed that 10-year deal for $250-something million with the Texas Rangers way back when, you thought the guy was going to stay there for the next 10 years. They traded him after year 3. The guy won the MVP and they traded him. So if it's not working out somewhere, which so far it is, and I'm not saying it won't work out because it's working out. They're in first place. He's playing okay. It's working out. I'm just saying it would not shock me if eventually in the next few years, if Juan Soto's like, I'm really not feeling this. And I'm not even saying get traded to the Yankees. It could be somewhere else. It could be back to Washington. It could be somewhere else. But we'll see what happens. That's my crazy take. I saved it for the end of the video. So if you're still here, leave a comment down below. I want to know what you guys have to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.